Hey guys, Ramblin' Man Moto here. I just received this camera, which is the DJI Osmo Action 5, and recording me is that camera. That is the DJI Osmo Action 4. That camera used to sit here, and I wanted another camera here, DJI specifically, so that I could get away, let my people go away from GoPro. I have both of my GoPros and the Mini Mod on eBay as we speak to liquidate those and say bon voyage. I thought I might keep them, but even the one that I was using right here to record kept, it's hot out here, I'm fogging up, kept, stopping. I'd be riding, doing a recording, and I'd look over and it's paused. If I left it on while I was getting gas or something, sometimes it would overheat. I just had enough of it. Now, the DJI is not immune to this. When I did my visit to Appomattox, the one where I darn near had a heat stroke, this camera timed out due to the heat. But generally, I don't have a problem with this camera timing out. I've not had so many error messages. I've not had any. So this is my first ride recording with this camera. I've made the settings the same. Interesting thing, identical settings, identical size memory card that's been formatted. The DJI 4 said I had like 4 hours and 44 minutes of recording time. Same camera, DJI Osmo Action 5, said I have like 6 hours and 42 minutes. And I hit the forums trying to understand why is that. Apparently this camera, the DJI Osmo 5, has changed some bitrate stuff. Little technical and over my head. I mean, I understand it. I totally get it. I just don't feel like I'm going to get into it for this video. But basically, they said it could impact the video quality, where the 4 is actually better than the 5. But it all depends on how you process it and your equipment and what you do with it. So I guess we're both going to see together how this comes out in the wash. The other thing that's interesting is that this camera, the 5, you can sync by Bluetooth both DJI wireless mic. Now, that's important if you're trying to do an interview or something, like you're doing a video for something and you need both people talking. But for motovlogging, the reason I see some people want to do it, they take the second mic and put it on the back to capture more of the exhaust sound. I don't think that's going to be how I roll, but while I'm out today, I might sync up the second mic. I brought it with me. And maybe I might put it like on the back in a bag or something, and we'll see. Do our own little test. All right, I'm going to see you on the road. I'm going to get going here before it gets too dark with sunset coming up. See you on the road. All right, guys, I'm on the road. I'm going to say one thing that I've already noticed before I pulled out of the house was I'm using the DJI wireless mic too, and this is the DJI camera, and they tout the ability to pair these cameras. And one of the things I find interesting was on the 4, I have to turn the gain down to the minus maximum in the rear, otherwise it peaks out and the audio is too loud. Well, that gain setting was minus 12 on the 4, and on the 5 it's the same setting. I have it on minus 12, but I noticed that just sitting in the driveway talking, doing that video, it was showing red, like I was maxing out and peaking out the microphone, which I'm really surprised because I was just talking. And then when I was getting on the road, just the sound of the bike and the microphone is inside my helmet. And even if I don't talk, it's peaking out, showing that it's max volume. It makes me wonder if the gain is even working. So this is kind of issue number 1 for me. Yeah, it's almost like the wireless mic is not actually working. I'm gonna have to stop and check if the wireless mic is working. Well, it had to be working because it let me do the gain setting. You can't do the gain setting without the mic being connected for the wireless mic. So I think I have an issue because I'm looking at it right now, and with the Osmo 4, just inside the helmet, it's not peaking. It doesn't have that large green bar. But if you look at, you know, you might be able to see it from, if I do this the right way with editing, you might be able to see what I'm talking about. So I'm going to see if I can get close to the camera, and I'm not going to speak. Can you see the bar now that I'm speaking? Almost going to pull in at that library, and something hit me that they might be having something going on, so I'm glad I kept going. That's a full parking lot. I'm also using auto white balance at 5600K. Alright guys, I'm back. You know, the Osmo Action 4 has a setting where the screen is always on and you can watch what's being recorded. And I set it like that one time because I thought I was recording one time and missed a bunch of footage because the little red light was so small. I've just discovered the new Osmo Action 5 has this thing where you cannot have the screen on the whole time while recording. And I'm hoping that maybe I did something wrong. And maybe there is a setting, but from what I see, you have like 3 or 4 options of what's going to be on the screen while you're recording. This is one of them. A big red indicator. But like if you needed to look at what you're recording so that you know what's in shot, I'm trying to understand how this camera does that. So I'm going to have to look into that. I'm actually going to change one of the settings before I go back out on the road. Alright, you might not be able to tell it, but I changed one setting on color. I had it on 5600 auto white balance. Now I just set everything to auto, and I didn't cap it on the white balance to see if that looks any different, okay? So I want to take another quick ride. I don't like that I can't see the screen when I'm looking at it, because there's some scenarios where I'm going to need to be able to see the screen. Darn it. I think I'm just going to ride this way, actually, guys. A lot of traffic, and I don't want to keep waiting. There's a stabilization setting, so I have it on rock steady, which is the same as I used to, but this new camera, the 5, has an additional setting called Sport that's supposed to act to further stabilize. So I have it on Sport this whole ride. I may change it. I will change it at the next stop to the other setting. It's so bizarre to me that when companies make new cameras, they remove functionality. And in this case, leaving the screen on while you're recording, to me, is a very important feature. And the next time I stop, I think I'm going to hit Google real quick to make sure I understand. And I'm going to double check this camera settings, the 4, because I think that the 4 has the capability. I know it does, because that's what I've used when I've been out walking these historical sites, so that I can see what you're seeing through the camera. And with this camera, I don't have that capability, the one that I'm wearing on helmet right now. I can't see what the microphone is doing either this way, so I won't know until I get home and start editing whether this thing is topping out too much. And being transparent, I didn't buy this expecting better video quality, but I certainly didn't buy it expecting worse. And there was some discussion online about, because of the reduced bitrate, it could actually introduce artifacts. And honestly, I don't know if that's for the hardcore people that they notice that. You know, I don't like video that look like it filmed on a potato, but you know, once you get to a certain point, I don't care what it looks like. Alright guys, I'm back on the road. I did some reading on the internet, and because this camera is so new, like I think it just came out yesterday while I'm recording this, and Amazon delivered it to me first thing this morning, there's not much out on the internet. How some of these people are getting reviews out, I don't know if they get the cameras early from DJI or something to increase buzz. I mean, there's a lot of reviews out there. I don't see anybody talking about the fact that you can't keep the screen turned on while you're recording. To me, that's a major function. Not, you know, just for me. I'm thinking more about guys that really create a lot of content. You got to see how the shot is framed. And they have removed capability. And I also had a question I posted on the discussion forum when I was trying to understand how I could be getting more recording hours with the same setup on a new camera. And a guy responded that he said that he bought the camera with all the hype and is now just realizing that they've slashed the bitrate, and he's considering returning it if they don't issue a firmware update in the first 14 days. From what I understand, the camera is capable of doing higher bit rates. They've just removed the feature to pump that you can record more time. And I think it also is a way they extend the battery life, I guess. I'm not what I would call a video snob on the quality, but the fact that the people that know more about this stuff than me are saying it's a big deal, you know, catches my attention. And I might return this camera and just buy another 4 used to use on the handlebar. You know, the reason I wanted to get another Osmo Action was, one, I liked it, it's reliable, and I didn't want to have to fool with a GoPro on one part of my editing and the DJI on another part. And I may keep this camera, but I could have bought a used 4 for less. You know, some of the feature upgrades aren't that important to me. And oh, by the way, I did change the stabilization to normal or whatever it was, not the sport one. So we'll see if that does anything to the footage. They also have a nighttime mode, but I honestly, you know, I don't ride enough at night to make it worth my while to buy a camera just for that. Truth be told, I'm feeling a little lukewarm on this Action 5, especially with the fact that they disabled the never function when it comes to timing out. I'm going to stop the ride here. You can let me know in the comments what you think of the view from the helmet cam with the Osmo Action 5. I'm going to do a later review, I think, after I record more footage.